At some point, if you have been watching the birds in your yard long enough, you notice something you cannot quite name. The cardinal that has been coming to your feeder for years looks the same, moves the same, sings the same clear whistle from the same branch every morning, and then one season, something is different. Not obviously different, not dramatically different, just slightly slower, a feather that does not quite lie flat. A hesitation before the takeoff. A morning here and there where he does not show up at all. Most people do not realize what they are seeing in those moments. They do not realize that birds age in ways that are hidden by design, that the feather and the flight and the song all carry the marks of a life measured not in years, the way we count them, but in migrations survived, winters outlasted, territories defended, and young birds launched into the world. They do not realize that the bird at their feeder may have a history longer and stranger than anything they ever imagined. And they do not realize that the final season of a wild bird's life is one of the most extraordinary and least observed things that happens in the natural world. Welcome back to Wild Bird Whisper. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because what you are about to learn will change the way you look at every bird that visits your yard, especially the ones you have come to recognize, the ones that have been there so long they feel like they belong to the place. Today we are going into something that almost nobody talks about. What happens to a bird when it gets old, what aging actually looks like in wild birds, how they change, how they adapt, and what happens in the final season before they are gone. Stay until the end, because what we cover last is something I think many of you have already witnessed without having the words for it, and once you have the words, you will not be able to unsee it. Number 1, wild birds age on a completely different timeline than you think. The first thing most people get wrong about bird aging is the numbers. We tend to assume that small birds live short lives. A creature that weighs 11 grams that fits in the closed palm of a hand surely does not live long. But the data is considerably stranger than that assumption. A black-capped chickadee in the wild has a recorded lifespan of up to 12 years. The Northern Cardinal regularly lives 10 to 15 years in the wild. A mourning dove, that soft, slow visitor that seems entirely unhurried by the world, can live more than 19 years. American robins have been documented past 13 years. House finches past 11. The small brown birds moving through your feeder in January are not ephemeral creatures. Some of them are older than some of the children in your neighborhood. What this means is that the birds in your yard have histories. A cardinal male who has been visiting your feeder for 4 or 5 years has survived multiple migrations if he ranges seasonally, multiple nesting cycles, multiple winters. He has held territory, found a mate, lost a mate, possibly found another. He has been hunted by hawks, displaced by cold fronts, survived disease. Every bird you see is a survivor of a specific and unrepeatable series of events. And the older the bird, the longer and stranger that series becomes. Number 2, the marks of age in wild birds are subtle and almost always hidden. Birds do not age the way mammals age. They do not gray at the muzzle. They do not slow in the obvious, gradual way a dog or a cat slows. Wild birds are shaped by a system that has almost no tolerance for visible weakness. A bird that moves noticeably slower, that perches in an exposed way, that hesitates in a manner that signals diminished capacity, will be taken by a predator. The selection pressure against showing age is enormous and unrelenting. So aging in birds is hidden, camouflaged by the same drive toward normal function that has kept their species alive for millions of years. But it is there, if you know what you are looking at. Feather condition is one of the first signs. Young birds in peak condition have feathers that lie in tight aerodynamic alignment. As birds age, the molt cycles that maintain feather condition can become less precise. A tail feather slightly out of alignment. A wing covert that sits at a fractionally different angle. The difference is small enough that most observers never register it as age. It looks like normal variation. It is not. Flight changes in ways that are equally subtle. Older birds often show a very slight increase in what researchers call decision latency, the time between perceiving a threat and initiating flight. Young birds flush fast, almost instantaneously. Old birds flush, but there is sometimes a fraction of a second of apparent stillness before departure that young birds do not show. In the wild, that fraction of a second is the difference between life and death. It is the window a hawk is looking for. Song in older male birds changes too, though rarely in the ways we might expect. In many species, older males produce more complex, more varied song than younger males. Cardinals and song sparrows accumulate song variants across their lifetimes. An old male cardinal in your yard may be singing phrases that no other cardinal in your neighborhood has ever produced, a repertoire built and refined across years of territorial defense and mate attraction. His song is not diminished by age. In many ways, it is the richest it has ever been. Number 3. Old birds know more. And it shows. There is a documented difference in the behavior of older birds that goes beyond physical capacity. It is cognitive, experiential. Old birds have more information. A study tracking individual great tits in long-term woodland populations found that older birds made better foraging decisions, chose safer routes, and were significantly more efficient at locating food in novel environments than younger birds. They had learned the landscape. They knew where the reliable patches were, which areas held more insects after rain, which routes minimized hawk exposure. They were better at being birds than young birds were, despite any decline in peak physical performance. In your yard, this shows up in ways you can observe. The oldest birds at your feeder are often the calmest, not because they have lost vigilance, but because they have calibrated it more precisely. A young bird flushes at a shadow that turns out to be a leaf. An old bird distinguishes between the shadow of a leaf and the shadow of a hawk before the decision to move is even made. The experience is not visible, but the result of it is, in every unhurried perch, every efficient seed selection, every confident departure that happens at exactly the right moment and not a second before. They know the yard. They may know you. The cardinal that has been visiting for years is not simply a recurring visitor. He is an individual with a specific and accumulated understanding of your yard, your patterns, your sounds, your schedule. He is operating with information that took years to build. When he sits at the feeder without flushing while you stand at the window, that is not indifference. That is the result of a long and specific education. Number 4, the final season and what it actually looks like. What happens in the final season of a wild bird's life is something that almost no one witnesses directly, and the reason is the same reason aging is hidden. Wild birds do not die in open places. They do not die at feeders. They do not die in the center of lawns in broad daylight. They disappear. The old cardinal who has visited your yard for years will not show you his final morning. He will be there, and then he will not be there. The transition will be invisible. The yard will carry on. New birds will come, the feeder will empty and refill in the same rhythm. And the absence will settle in slowly, not dramatically, a quieter question that rises over weeks when you realize you have not seen him and cannot remember when the last time was. Ornithologists who study long-term banded populations know this absence well. Birds that have been tracked through years of regular resighting simply stop appearing. No body is found. No clear cause. They are present in the data until they are not, and the gap is the only record of the ending. What the science does suggest is that the final weeks and months of a wild bird's life are often spent in increasing stillness. Older birds in declining condition move less, forage in smaller ranges, perch for longer periods. They are conserving. They are drawing what remains of their resources into the maintenance of the most basic functions. In the late stages, many birds seek dense cover and remain there. They become invisible, not because they have gone somewhere else, but because they have gone somewhere close and quiet and hidden. Number 5, what it means that you knew them. I want to end with something that I think a lot of you are already carrying. If you have been putting out feeders for years, if you have been watching the same yard through multiple seasons, there is a reasonable chance that some of the birds you have come to recognize are no longer there. Not because they moved, because their lives ended, because the life of a wild bird, however long and extraordinary, is finite in the same way all lives are finite. The cardinal you called yours, the one who always came at 7 a.m., the one who sat in the dogwood while you drank your coffee, the one you watched long enough that you could distinguish his song from the other males in the neighborhood. That bird had a life, a full, specific, unrepeatable life. He had a territory he defended with everything he had. He had a mate he called to from that same branch in that same way across multiple springs. He survived things you never saw and will never know about. He was old, at the end, in ways that the feathers and the flight and the song mostly hid. And then he was gone, in the quiet way wild things go, leaving nothing behind but the habit of looking for him. I do not think it is sentimental to say that this matters. The science we have covered today says clearly that the relationship between a backyard bird and a consistent human observer is not one-sided. The bird knows the yard. The bird knows the person. The old cardinal sitting unhurried at your feeder in January is there in part because of the years of presence you have offered him. His calm in your yard was built slowly from everything he learned about you. The absence, when it comes, is the other side of that. Pay attention to the birds that have been coming for years, not in a way that is anxious or expectant, just in the way that honors something real. Because the oldest bird at your feeder right now is carrying a life that is longer and stranger and more specific than anything you can see from the window. And one morning, without announcement, without ceremony, that particular life will be finished, and the yard will carry on, and you will notice the absence, and the noticing will tell you something true about what was there. Tell me in the comments, have you ever had a bird you came to recognize over years, and then one day realized you hadn't seen it in a while? Tell me which bird it was and how long it had been coming. I read every one of those. I'll see you in the next one.